welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It's time for the grand final edition of our Esports Tower Overwatch Rumble in the third week. Last week we saw the group stage playing out, and the Pink Panthers and Blue Springs High made their way to the finals tonight. The Pink Panthers fighting to be the first two-time Overwatch Rumble champions. Blue Springs trying to bounce back after their loss in the finals in week 2. I'm your host, Michael Fisher, and joining me to call all of the action is Brenner Bear-Ladd. And Brenner, we've seen the Pink Panthers be very dominant. We saw Blue Springs sneak past the Everetts in a kind of a battle to see who would be there. So what are your expectations heading into our best-of-5 grand final night to wrap up week 3?
You know, Blue Springs is going to have a lot of pressure on them going up against Pink Panthers, who are undefeated so far, and especially just now beating out the Everest in a very close match between the two. I think the Blue Springs are feeling very good after just beating that team that they lost to in that second week of the Tower Rumble. So going up against the Pink Panthers is definitely going to be an uphill battle for them.
The Pink Panthers have looked absolutely phenomenal here tonight. We'll see if they can get knocked off by Blue Springs. Again, this should be a very exciting Rumble. The Pink Panthers won Grand Finals week number 1, took the week off, and then the Blue Springs ended up losing the Everest, as Brenner said. But Blue Springs got past the Everest to make it to it. As you see, here was the breakdown. We started with group play last week. We had a round robin, best of 1, all of that for the seeding, where the top 2 teams from group play advanced to our best of 5 finals. We will start off on Lijiang Tower. And of course, we have Doc's keys of the game as well, which are understand your comp and play style, focus on each fight, get good ult value, and the objective is greater than kills. We've seen that time and time again where people just forget about the payload. They forget about the objective. You got to get that done if you want to pick up the W. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You can match with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up at Esports Tower. Pink Panthers, Blue Springs High School getting ready to go here on Lijiang. Brenner, what are you watching for when these two teams kick off in game number 1 of the Grand Finals?
I mean, Lijiang is the definition of a sim brawl map. We see on certain maps, we see a lot of Cassidy come out and Junkrats. Very rarely a Bastion will even come out, but at that point it's going to be all down to the speed. So starting off with Gardens and Gambler falling off the edge. This is not the sim map of the 3, so already the high mobility comps for both sides are going to come out.
They do trade 1 for 1, but Hattori is going to get stunned and taken out there. An early start for Blue Springs High School. Not quite sure what happened to Gambler. I assume maybe trying to make a sick rollout play. We get another environmental kill from a Brig, not something you usually see, and Blue Springs will start off with the point first.
Yeah, it's something we stress in our own Boise State strats of winning that first team fight is so crucial, especially in control, because it allows you to get that early buffer of percentage as the team goes in for this next team fight.
Well, Eben Noodles is the first elimination. Gambler immediately making up for that self-destruct with a double kill. AME is going to pick up 1 more. Yort the Tort will get demeched and booped off the edge. So from a self-destruct to a triple kill, it's safe to say it's Gambler's figured things out.
Yes, started off rough with that suicide, but Conspiracy going to finish it off with another environmental kill onto Bread this time around. So Blue Springs is going to have to go for the re-engage here, see if they can match the ferocity of the Pink Panthers this time around. And Pink Panthers do have that Coalescence going up against Bread's Minefield, so it's something you'll have to keep your eyes on. But Blue Springs definitely has the ult percentage advantage.
Coalescence going to be the first ult used from Lyric, going to pick up 1. And basically kind of whittle down the rest of the team. They do get a bit of a back cap coming out here. Looks like Clear was trying to sneak in on the back line, was not able to find it though. Yort the Tort will also get taken out by Gambler, and Blue Springs almost backdoors Pink Panthers, but not quite.
Yeah, they saved their ults for this next upcoming team fight, which I think is good on them for having that restraint of you know, Pink Panthers opened up with that Coalescence, which already started them off well, and then they got those first 2 early eliminations, which just turned the team fight in their favor. So Blue Springs just had to go for the reset, and Gambler trading environmental kills is not what you want to see.
AME gets an elimination before falling off the edge. We get another elimination with the Diva Bomb, and then he forces Yort the Tort to just jump off to avoid the reset or the stagger, as Blue Springs just cannot find a way onto this point right now.
Yeah, they're getting really picked apart, and Gambler's having kind of a field day booping people around. He may fall off every once in a while, but it seems to be paying off as being the Lucio. He comes back faster than most people, but Blue Springs has all 6 ults, so you have to wonder if they'll be able to win this next team fight having that ability.
Well, speaking of ults, the first one that's going to be popped is a Primal Rage that results in a double kill for Blade On. The rally is used by Cone, but not enough to keep the team members alive. You saw Bread was back on the point trying to go for a sneaky back cap. Sound barrier is going to come out from Gamblers. They continue to hold right in the spawn. Transcendence and a Diva Bomb both going to be used there. Hattori can't quite get the elimination onto Bandelli. We'll see if the rest of Blue Springs can make it onto the point in time. Pink Panthers down a couple members. Bladon even going off the edge, and I think Pink Panthers should be able to extend this, and they will.
Yeah, Pink Panthers definitely pushed too far into their spawn, and once Blue Springs started pressing their ults, they were winning that fight, which is exactly what you want to see. But now only having the Deadeye going into this next team fight, whereas Pink Panthers have the Coalescence and the Pulse Bomb, they definitely have the advantage, especially with how early on they get eliminations and pushing as a team.
There's that Coalescence, going to be the first ultimate immediately used. A nice flashbang is going to cancel the rest of it, but Bandelli will be immediately take it out. Conspiracy and Bladon taken low, but they should be sustained. There's that Pulse Bomb, gets an elimination on Cone. Even Noodles will go down as well to AME, and it looks like the Pink Panthers should be able to flip this point. They do lose AME in the process, though, but that is a willing sacrifice as Brett still holding it down. Actually gets a great elimination onto Lyric and as well onto the Winston. This fight maybe not as easy as the Pink Panthers nor I expected, as they're still being contested on the point. Blue Springs up above 75% now. Finally, Claire gets taken out. That will flip the point, put it into overtime. A great Diva Bomb from Yort. The Tort gets a double kill. It's all up to Conspiracy. The Deadeye comes out. Conspiracy and Bladon just going to keep line of sighting that from the Cassidy, as the two tanks for Pink Panthers are just trying to hold on to the point. One will go down, the other will fall as well, and Blue Springs is going to turn this point right back in their favor.
Yeah, they had Cone there to stall it out as long as they can, and as you mentioned, that Diva Bomb was key to them flipping the point, but they still have to cap it first as Pink Panthers were stalling with that Symmetra, but now they have to hold it for this next 20%, and they even committed the rally to keep it, so that now they don't have a single ult going into this, whereas they have both support ults and the Primal Rage coming online for the Pink Panthers.
AME now swap it over the Doom Fist. Last fight here. Winner of this team fight probably wins it. The aggro sound barrier to start things off for the Pink Panthers. Expecting Lyric to probably pop the Coalescence sooner rather than later. We are in overtime. First elimination on to Bandelli. There's the Coalescence. A knock off the edge. Another elimination for Bladon with that Primal Rage. The Coalescence going to pick up one as well. Minefields do come out from Bread, which is going to cut that point in half just a little bit until the Pink Panthers can deal with it as Lyric tries to heal his teammates through all the mine damage. They'll flip the point in their favor. We'll see if anyone from Blue Springs can make to the point. They can stagger on, but the Dragon Blade from Hattori will pretty much end any chance of that. They even get a nice eat onto that Pulse Bomb from Conspiracy. And Blue Springs just now going to throw themselves at the point. Couple more Hail Mary attempts. Brad really the last one available. Gets reset one more time as Yort the Tort is able to jump on. The Diva Bomb can't quite land from Conspiracy, but it will take out the mech. And eventually that should do it for Blue Springs. They're just throwing themselves at the point over and over again. And finally, it will end in the Pink Panthers' favor.
Yeah, Blue Springs was able to stall that out very long, but not having the concise team push that Pink Panthers had so consistently, he is what utterly faulted them as we look at this final play for both sides. As you mentioned, the Coalescence had to come out sooner than later. As we see it comes out, but so does the Primal Rage to knock him off. Pink Panthers played that very well going into map 2.
Map 1 a lot closer than I expected. I thought that the Pink Panthers were going to dominate there, so a big shout out to Blue Springs kind of getting back to 99-99. The Nanolist Genji is definitely an interesting one, but Hattori will end that conversation. He'll just swap over to the Junkrat, and we're only going to see one sim, actually, and that's going to come out for Blue Springs.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if it pays off for them because they're going up against AME and Hattori on both the Junk and the Widow, so if the Widow is able to pick off any of the left alone members of Blue Springs, it will not end well for them as Junkrat's just raining down a ton of damage, but Blue Springs did get on the point first.
They will lose the mech for Yort the Tort and Claire. You talked about AME. How about 3 straight headshots in the kill feed for the Widowmaker? And the DPS for the Pink Panthers play a huge role in them pulling off the point first. They get a team kill to boot as well.
Yeah, Pink Panthers has the really good comp to set up the Widow. They have the Hattori on the Junkrat to burn down the shields the best they can, since Yort the Tort can only block damage for the whole 2 seconds. That is the defense matrix. So once they had that line of sight, AME was just going to have a field day with the squishy targets in the backline, since we know they're going to hit shots at this higher level of skill play. So now Pink Panthers have to get to re-engage through this amplification matrix.
Amplification matrix does come out. Blue Springs will just simply line of sight it, coming up on Even Noodle's own amp matrix, as well as Bandeli's photon barrier. Both those ults are up. There's a Riptire also up for Hattori, and he's going to rip it right off the start. AME gets eliminated. Unfortunately, Riptire kind of runs into a wall, trying to sneak behind the Reinhardt shield and gets it done. Bread will go down. And with that, I think the Pink Panthers are going to be able to win that fight and send Blue Springs back to their spawn.
Yeah, this is the issue we do have with Sim Brawl comps, is once Sim no longer works, you have to be able to swap off of it. And Bandeli still having that photon barrier is going to stick onto her just to get use out of that ult, but sometimes you just have to call it and go for the swap because the Symmetra is no longer working, especially against both a Junkrat and a Widow. We did see the solo shatter there. Hera was able to secure the elimination, but we don't know how much value that could have gotten if he had saved it. So now Blue Springs trying to go for another push onto the point, trying to eliminate this Baptiste, but he's going to stay alive just a little bit longer.
Great immortality field ends up coming out from Lyric. A sound barrier going to be used as well, and that sound barrier ends up getting the elimination. Now, while all that was happening, we did get a bit of a back cap from Blue Springs. Unfortunately, Bread and Even Noodles will go down, but they at least delayed the inevitable for a little bit and give themselves, I think, one more chance on a last fight.
Yeah, Hattori even got the post-mortem elimination with those Junkrat bombs as AME activates the wall hacks for his team. For Landon, getting the first elimination is not what you want to see for Blue Springs.
Blue Springs, though, will pick up 2 more. They get 1 onto Vladon, 1 onto Gambler, a pin onto Conspiracy. Won't be an elimination, but that is a sizable chunk. And the stun gets the mech killed as well as the Baby D, but they are in overtime. Much like map number 1, Blue Springs staying alive.
Yeah, and I think you're feeling very comfortable if you're the Pink Panthers right now. Yes, you just lost the team fight, hey, but you have a full 90% to get regroup, win a single team fight, and then that'll win you in. And eliminating a tank and a support early on is what you want to see.
Immortality field from Lyric doing a great job keeping Vladon alive before he does get taken out. As now Conspiracy on the wrecking ball, trying to just be a nuisance in the backline, forced to roll away. And probably 4 or 5 more fights still left, though, that Blue Springs have to win.
Yeah, they only have the Deadeye online with the sound barrier close behind, whereas Pink Panthers definitely have the stronger ults on their side with both the Riptire and Shatter online. Definitely a much more game-changing ult. So you have to wonder what Blue Springs is thinking through, because they have to keep track of those ults. Unless they're able to eliminate Conspiracy here, things are not looking good for them here.
The Shatter and the Riptire are going to come off. Vladon will end up charging Yort the Tort off the edge and also get booped off the edge at the same time as Gambler gets a knockoff onto Bandeli. Deadeye's going to come out from clear, gets at least 1 before he will be eliminated. 1 last person on the point, trying to keep Blue Springs in it, but the point will be flipped in the Pink Panthers' favor. So now Blue Springs, with Yort the Tort and Bandeli left, will try and stall out as long as possible. And unfortunately for Yort the Tort, there is no mech for a reset. The teleport from Bandeli does go off, so at least gets Bread onto the point. Cone's going to get there as well and drop a sound barrier. So Blue Springs able to keep extending this game. Bread even picks up a couple of kills and might end up pulling this one out for Blue Springs. Lyric trying to keep his tank alive. Finally, they're able to get those eliminations, and the Pink Panthers once again squeak by and pick up a map number 1 win.
Yeah, Blue Springs definitely tried to make that Symmetra work, and they put a lot of effort in, and it did work towards the end, even with that teleporter allowing them to get back on the point much quicker, but they did not have the DPS to out-sustain just the ferocity of the Pink Panthers with both AME and Hattori on those DPS rolls.
Well, you know, going at it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We saw that with some fantastic stall from Blue Springs there at the end on both Map 1 and Map 2. You can see how talented both these teams are. Esports Tower really takes team to create teams of well-matched teammates. I want to give a shout-out to the coaches. And if you're watching and you haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs yet, you should. It is the fast track to rank up. Pink Panthers pick up a game number 1 win on Lijiang. Before we go to a break, Bernie, you have any thoughts to add on that game we just saw?
I think Blue Springs can take a lot away from that matchup of not always going the meta is going to pay off for you, as we saw with the Pink Panthers running a Widow that we almost never see on top of a Junkrat. So they have kind of a well-thought-out plan that will definitely throw you off. So I think going to this next match, Blue Springs still has a solid chance because they've been giving Pink Panthers a fight.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. Up next, game number 2. We'll see if Blue Springs can tie the series out one aside. It's all coming up right after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back into this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch, broadcasting it live from the Boise State Game Pits Esports Arena. We're heading to game number 2 of our grand finals. Fisher and Brenner here calling all the action. We head over to Hybrid, and we get a very unique map, Brenner, one that we really don't see all that often. We're going to Eichenwald.
Yeah, we haven't seen, I don't think we've seen Eichenwald at all this season from any of our tournaments that I've seen personally, so that is definitely a welcome change of a pacing hybrid map, because every single time we go to King's Row. So going to something like Eichenwald is a welcome change, and I wish it would happen more often, especially when we have great options like Eichenwald or Blizzard World or any of the plethora maps that we see, but everyone goes King's Row. So having this change can open up a lot of things for the team comp that both teams might not be expecting or have even planned on.
Yeah, obviously the first thing, for the first 2 points on Eichenwald, doesn't really work on the third point of Eichenwald. It is probably going to be a Farm Mercy or an Echo Mercy, some kind of aerial play, because there is just so much open room, so much ways to just spam down rockets. So I'm very curious if either of those teams, I think we've seen the Pink Panthers in the past pull out a Pharmacy. I don't quite know what Blue Springs has in store, but of course we know that Clear for Blue Springs has played quite a lot of McCree, so that hit scan might be there. So I'm very curious the comps that will come out, because Eichenwald, as you said, is a map we don't see very often, and it's very unique because it's probably the most wide open, and there's not a lot of hiding spots until you get inside that castle.
Yeah, the verticality is definitely a huge element here, because it can definitely try to diversify the target priority for the DPS of looking up or just sticking to the ground of that target priority. So a lot of pressure is going to be put on him, and even on the defense, you could see we're going to see a Mei on the first point because she is so heavily utilized in that first archway.
Well, here we go. Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch, brought to us by Esports Tower. Understand your comp and play style, focus on each fight, and get good ult value and objective over kills, especially on hybrid. If we get into overtime, you got to make sure you stay on that point as long as possible. Presented by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. It's the Pink Panthers. It's Blue Springs High School. It's game 2 of our grand finals on Eichenwald. We kick it off right away with, it looks like, Blue Springs attacking here early on, and unfortunately for them, Bread and Clear are both going to be eliminated.
Yeah, Pink Panthers' defensive team comp is actually really quite interesting, having Hitori on the Tracer and AME on the Sombra, definitely playing the unorthodox that we see from a typical Eichenwald defense in the past, and Blue Springs going with kind of the more traditional attack of Bread and Yort the Tor with the Winston Zarya as well as Bandelli, but he does not have his own pocket Mercy, which I definitely think is going to hurt Blue Springs in the long run, which is why Pink Panthers have been able to hold them for the first 2 minutes of this match.
You see AME is very close to an EMP. Should be up for this next fight if they need it. As Clear's the first one that gets eliminated. Even Noodles will go down as well. Conspiracy will be demech, but that is not a problem when the rest of the enemy team is dead. Even can farm some ult charge here on this Winston. And another great fight win for the Pink Panthers, and they're going to have 2 ults coming into this next fight.
Yeah, Conspiracy, even with the Baby Diva elimination onto Bread, as he wasn't able to even eliminate a Baby Diva, speaks to the skill of Conspiracy from the Pink Panthers. And they still have the ult advantage going into this next team fight, so Blue Springs definitely has to have a solid team push if they want to be able to even get a single pip on this point.
EMP is going to go off. It's a 4-man that lands from AME, but they will be eliminated. No follow-up from the rest of the team. Now they all come racing in. AME wondering where that was just a few seconds ago. Vlad on Hitori combined for a triple kill. They do lose Hitori, though, so both DPS down for the Pink Panthers. AME trying to race back from spawn. A grab is going to come out from Yort the Tort, as well as the Primal Rage there from Brett with a great rally from Gambler. Everybody's able to live on the Pink Panthers side. Diva Bomb from Conspiracy goes off, can't find anything, and even with all those ults, Blue Spring was not able to get much of a push.
Yeah, Pink Panthers played that very well, even if they weren't able to eat the grab with the Diva. That Diva Bomb used for just zoning control, not even for elimination, so the Blue Springs could not push through that archway again as they group up to do it once more. Hitori has that pulse bomb that you have to keep an eye on, but Blue Springs does have the ult advantage, so things are looking up for them in this next team fight as they're able to push through the archway without a problem.
They get a hack onto Cone, and he can't even get the rally off before he dies. That's a fantastic play by AME. The Nano is going to go onto Bread, trying to build another Primal Rage. Pulse bomb from Hitori. Not going to be able to find anything, though. Bread taking quite a bit of damage. Going to be forced to jump away. 60 seconds left here. Bandelli on that Echo. Have not seen too much of them. They will be eliminated, and it looks like Blue Springs is going to have to reset and maybe have 1 or 2 more fights.
Yeah, 1 fight at best here, especially getting staggered by Yort the Tor and with Noodles getting taken out. Pink Panthers are looking very confident here with many ults being close to ready for this final fight. Hey, we need to see Blue Springs press their ults and use them, even if it's just for zoning capabilities. You got to commit it with only 20 seconds on the board remaining.
Final chance here for Blue Springs. Vladon has the minefield. AME's got another EMP. See if they want to use it. Cone is still sitting on that rally. It will go off, and then the 4-man EMP is going to land. Bread gets eliminated by the minefield. Gambler throws out their own rally. And I don't think Blue Springs is going to make it past the first point. They get the duplicate onto the Diva, but they're not even going to make it there to keep overtime alive. And Pink Panthers just simply need 1 pip in order to be able to pick this map 2 win up.
Yeah, Bandelli should have swapped off that Echo. Not using the duplicate, didn't have a pocket Mercy, was constantly getting taken out. AME was always on Cone to remove the brick from the equation, so they were down that 1 healer. Even if it's not a main healer, it is simply just taking away from the utility that Blue Springs had. So Pink Panthers had a very strong defense, and they only have to get 1 pip on this point, able to take down Blue Springs. So things are not looking good. So it's an all-out defense for Blue Springs here.
Pink Panthers have looked very strong so far. They have not dropped a map yet in any of their Rumble appearances. And at least on Eichenwald, it appears that that is going to be continued. Unless Blue Springs has an incredible defense and we go to overtime.
Who knows what the future
Yeah,
holds?
be very curious if they'll be able to pull that off, especially with
Well, I must
the
never worry about
Hanzo
my
Mei
safety
combo.
when
I mean,
brave
if they get a really good Blizzard past Lyric, lands it, and they have Dragon Strike up, that could be the team wiping that they need, but that's only one team fight. And going up against Pink Panthers, where they have the Pharmacy combo that you mentioned so early on excels on Eichenwald for these first 2 points. And they don't really have the best hit scan for it, so all eyes are going to be on Clear and Bandelli for this hard hold, as the rest of the team is going to be aimed at keeping the tanks alive so they can hold that archway.
Kick it off. Here is Gambler. Gambler, we did get a bit of a role swap actually from a lot of members of the Pink Panthers. Pretty much everybody swapping what role that they were playing on those first couple maps. This Gambler getting jumped on by Yort the Tort. Unfortunately, can't quite finish him off with that Mercy Pocket. And they pick up the first elimination onto the off tank for Blue Springs. Even Noodles is the next target. Immortality Field barely keeping them alive, but they'll get punched mid-air by Gambler. Fantastic play there. And it looks like it's just a matter of time before this map is over. Everybody pretty much eliminated except Clear, who will get body blocked. And the Pink Panthers will pick up a map 2 win and put themselves on game point. Fantastic job there. Very quick on Eichenwald. If you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights with our featured rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Game 3, match point for the Pink Panthers is right around the corner. Before we get there, though, Brenner, your quick thoughts on what the Blue Springs High School need to do in order to turn this series around?
They definitely need to start recognizing some of their win conditions to win these even first fights in this situation. We saw them do it on Control the one time of winning that first fight against Pink Panthers, but since then they have not been able to kind of match the team play of the Pink Panthers. They have pretty good individual play, which we've seen from their previous matches up against other teams, but their team play going up against the Pink Panthers does not compare as of right now. So having the solid team pushes and using their ultimates when they have them rather than saving them for the big flashy moments. This isn't quick match. You need to utilize them to even get 1 or 2 people to give your team that leg up in the fight. So Blue Springs going into the next fight has to be a little bit more vicarious with their ults rather than just holding on to them for that perfect moment.
Well, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on Escort. We'll see if Blue Springs can extend the series or if the Pink Panthers can get it done. By the way, after the grand finals, we do have some more fun coming up after that, so do not tune out if the Pink Panthers end up winning on map 3, or no matter how long the grand finals go. We've got something special coming up right after. We'll take a quick break. Game 3, Escort, grand finals, Pink Panthers match point. It's all coming up right after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
back into this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch. Broadcasting it live from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. The Pink Panthers up 2-0 in the grand finals over Blue Springs High School. They're looking to close it out on Escort. I believe we're going to keep up the night of interesting picks. I mean, outside Lijiang, I think we're going to watch Point Gibraltar, if I'm not mistaken, Brenner, which is... We saw it was like a renaissance of Watch Point Gibraltar, like the middle of the semester for Boise State, and then we really haven't seen it in a very long time since then.
Yeah, I mean, it's a well-known map that Boise State loves to play because they love utilizing a Wrecking Ball both on offense and defense. We've seen even in past years play this map with very interesting strategies of a very close hold on the very first opening current in that side room so that they simply can't get to the point when attacking. So going into this Esports Tower Rumble plays, I'm curious what kind of their own strats they might come up with, because we've seen Pink Panthers bring out a lot of their own unique strats that have worked consistently, whereas Blue Springs have done more of kind of the meta side things, and Pink Panthers still consistently win, not even just because they have better team play, but because their comps aren't expected, so that might be what is also throwing Blue Springs for a loop.
Yeah, Blue Springs is, I mean, they look decent on Lijiang, had a couple of nice comebacks there to at least keep overtime alive, but unfortunately couldn't get it done, and then Eichenwald was just a different story entirely. So, I mean, besides, you know, comp issues, I mean, what's the one thing you're really looking for on Watch Point Gibraltar to see if Blue Springs can extend this series, get us to a Game 4, get us to Assault?
Well, if they start on defense, I definitely want to see them to go with the Echo or Pharmacy combo, because they did not utilize the Mercy last time in Eichenwald, which was kind of detrimental for Bandelli, who was playing that Echo on attack. Or if they're on the attack first, they need to be able to utilize the verticality that is so strong in Gibraltar, because pushing the cart is great, which we highlight in Doc's Keys all the time, which is objectives greater than kills, but you still have to be able to defend yourself, and if you're not contesting that high ground, you're just going to take a ton of free damage, which is going to allow the Pink Panthers to scale off of you so well.
Well, speaking of Doc's Keys, let's get potentially one more look at them here before we get to Game 3. It is the Pink Panthers and Blue Springs High School Grand Finals, week number 3 of our Esports Tower Overwatch Rumble. Pink Panthers looking to become 2-time champions and also remain undefeated, not only in Rumbles, not only in Grand Finals, but on every single map. They have not dropped a single one so far in our 3 weeks of the Esports Tower, though they did take a week off. And here we go, Doc's Keys to the game. Before we get into it, understand your comp and playstyle, focus on each fight, get good ultimate value and objective greater than kills, presented today by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Here we go, potentially the last map of the night. Pink Panthers 1 game away from their second Overwatch Rumble Championship on Watch Point Gibraltar, still in the blue.